Hi, my name is Arvin Sharifian, and today I'm going to present you on why CTE should be taken very seriously. So learning objectives for this presentation are going to be what is CTE and how does CTE impact humans. So what is CTE? So CTE is short for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Um, and this is ultimately classified as a degenerative brain disease. A degenerative disease is one that impacts an organ's functionality. So for this, or in this case, it's going to be the brain. So CTE impacts specific parts of the brain and degrades their function over time. It is caused by repeated blows to the head and is found in athletes uh, of boxing and primarily football, but it can also be found on military veterans as well. The scariest thing about CTE is the fact that there is no current day cure for it. CTE is and can only be found by doing an autopsy of people that have been affected and putting small samples of their brain under microscopes. Another little note is if you can see on the graphic on the screen, CTE affects by pretty much degrading parts of the brain literally. As you can see, the normal part or normal brain is significantly larger than one with advanced CTE. Symptoms of CTE, since it involves the brain, um, it does it deals with specific parts, parts that have to do with memory loss, parts that do with decision making. This can maybe be confusion, so the prefrontal cortex areas are affected, and this can lead to depression and anxiety. And these symptoms are unfortunately fatal. So this is what makes CTE a huge, huge problem. So the relationship between CTE and sports, as I mentioned previously, predominantly has to do with football and boxing, because these are sports that constantly deal with repeated blows to the head. A study out of Boston identified that 99% of brains of former NFL players have actually dealt with CTE at one point in their life. 20% of boxers have dealt with CTE at some point in their life. And then another scary thing about CTE is the fact that symptoms can appear upwards of 10 years after the injury is sustained. Uh, Looking at two specific stories here about CTE. One has to do with Pittsburgh Steelers player Justin Stretchlick, sorry, that he played for the Steelers for 9 years in the NFL, and dealt with anxiety and depression, which ultimately led to his death of a car crash. And Philadelphia Eagles player Andre Waters also was diagnosed with CTE, and this caused him to have depression, which ultimately led to his suicide. Apart from these two, 24 other deaths have been confirmed and diagnosed due to CTE, according to the NFL. And now this all begs the question, what can we do to stop this number from increasing? Studies have shown that there's a new screening method having to do with the TAU or tau protein in the brain. This specifically deals with the tau protein in the frontal cortex of the brain, near the blood vessels, which is where most of them are located. This study deals with a graphic theory by putting the brain in a 3D model and looking at it through an XYZ axis to determine where these proteins are. And this ultimately signifies to scientists if there is CTE in the brain. Advances in equipment, NFL every single year comes out with new helmets that are designed to reduce the impact. As you can see on the graphic on the screen, there are specific helmets that teams can use during training to reduce the impact, which overall, in theory, reduces the chance for CTE. And new studies and innovation are coming out every single year on what we can do to reduce the possibility of this happening. So in conclusion, CTE is a degenerative brain disease. Different parts of the brain are impacted by CTE. It causes terrible symptoms, um, including suicide or the symptoms that can lead up to suicide. Um, Predominantly found in athletes of football and boxing. These are the two sports that primarily deals with head impact and injuries. Prevention methods are coming out. Unfortunately, there is no cure today, as I mentioned, but it seems like every year we're getting closer and closer to finding um, a solution. And for this reason, this is why CTE should be taken seriously. Thank you for listening.